since he was 14. He's self-aware.
Hey y'all, Nesso here with a review of the funky duck, Zephyr. She's an agile frame available from the clan dojo. She's relatively easy to make even as a new player, but it does require a decent amount of oxium. While her stats are nothing amazing, with her above average health pool and shields along with low armor at 15 and energy at 150, this makes her a squishy frame without her skill set. Being made of space alloy that is said to be lighter than air, Zephyr has the passive ability to be floaty. She isn't affected by air friction and gravity as much as other frames. This passive allows Zephyr to be the champion of the minigame The Floor is Lava. Being able to stay in the air is said to decrease enemy accuracy. It is also a lot of fun just floating around. It allows her to dodge tank more efficiently, and more on this later. Now on to Zephyr's abilities. First up is Tailwind. Using this on the ground launches you straight upwards, while in the air, it propels you forward based on where your reticle is. This ability, in combination with her passive, allows her to soar in the air like the funky duck she is. While launching up next to the target and flying through enemies does deal damage, I find this ability is most used for movement. Duration affects how far you go while using Tailwind. Her second skill is Dive Bomb. If Zephyr is in the air, whether from jumping or using Tailwind, she can use this ability to take a nosedive, causing an AoE at her impact point. The impact point's knockdown is affected by range. The higher you are, the more damage the skill does. The skill also always procs heavy impact, making it effective to use with the skill. While I don't really consider this a good skill, if you're floating about and about to be mauled by melee enemies, you can activate it to knock them down. This skill is augmented by the Dive Bomb Vortex mod. This makes it that enemies you hit are brought to the impact point. This is fun to use with a range build, but I don't really use it that often. Zephyr's third skill is Turbulence. This skill pretty much turns Zephyr into a dodge tank. She puts up a shield, deflecting most projectiles. One thing to note is while it does deflect bombard rockets, their explosions still hurt quite a bit. The shields do have openings, which makes it important to be mobile with Zephyr. The wiki recommends having above negative 50% range for it to be effective. My old build used to run negative 70% range and it did deflect a lot less shots. In addition to being a good defensive skill, it can be augmented by the Jetstream mod. The mod increases movement speed and projectile speeds for Zephyr and anyone close enough to her. It's affected by range mods, and having higher power strength increases the movement speed and projectile speed modifier. While the most common combination is the Zephyr Tonker combo at 180% power strength, this skill works well with bows and corpus weapons such as the Supra and the Dual Cestras. Anything with slow projectiles feel a ton better when using this augment. And finally we have Zephyr's ultimate, Tornado. She summons tornadoes to wreak havoc on the battlefield. While their damage is lackluster, the main benefit of this skill is the crowd control and status effects it provides. Zephyr's tornado picks up enemies and keeps them in the air. Eventually they get tossed out. They also really have a high status chance, while its main element is magnetic. Shooting the tornadoes with weapons of different elements changes the color and damage type. This allows a weapon with low status chance to easily proc helpful stats like cold or viral. Range heavily affects how close the tornadoes spawn. The lower the range, the closer they spawn to each other and closer to Zephyr they spawn. The higher, the further away. This ability is augmented by the Funnel Clouds augment. It removes the CC effect of the tornadoes and decreases their size for additional 4 tornadoes for a total of 8 while at max rank. This allows more status procs to go out, but I personally don't think it's worth giving up Zephyr's crowd control. For modding, Configuration A is my main build. It is a turbulence build, allowing me to use weapons such as the Tonkor and bows effectively. Configuration B is a dive bomb build for fun. Now, is Zephyr worth it? Yes, indeed she is. Zephyr is a frame I like to use for any mission. Her ability kit is flexible for any mission type. She has movement for capture and sabotage missions with Tailwind. She has good defense thanks to turbulence for survivals, and she has crowd control via tornadoes for defense missions. Her turbulence augment also brings out the effectiveness of some weapons, allowing her to have a larger range of effective weapons. No Bounce Tonkor is a high-tiered setup, able to annihilate enemies easily. The dual Cestras are normally weapons I would never use, but because of Zephyr's boost to projectile speed, it makes them usable in medium-tiered missions. While she's not as tanky as Chroma or a god like Valkyr, Zephyr is still able to hold her own in any battle. One thing that does annoy me about Zephyr is the damn grey bits on her legs that can't be colored. Hopefully this will be remedied with new skins in the future. Like the video or found it helpful? Give the video a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed watching and I hope you have a good one.